Evan feel quite different. There's a lot more of it.
Gonna take her on the road, see what she can do. Built for speed, got that
Custom
4-wheel
twin
drive.
turbo setup.
When I hit the gas, man, I feel alive.
Lightweight
Freeze
valve.
on my hands, reaching my grip. Under the hood, gotta give a little tip. Tune her up, make her blood like a beast. She's a Subaru, the king of the streets. Easy on cars, gotta do it right. Grabbing up the engine, feeling the power ignite. Easy on cars, driving with a smile. Going extra mile. We're going extra mile.
Alright, so yesterday I sanded the hood and the two fenders with 100 grit. Today I got to get started on the tailgate and the roof. So we actually have in here all painted already, so we want to get this sealed up so we can just get it ready to paint just the outside of the car. Also going to have to take off the moldings, which we've already done, and the door handles, so I'll get started on that. I'm gonna have to jack up the car, pull the wheels off so we can get good paint in the fender wells. Alright, so just kind of tell you about my thought process here. I started sanding this whole thing with 1,000 grit, and then it was just so hard to get the 1,000 grit, and that told me I needed to drop back down to 400, which makes sense because Bob told me to do 400 first. I just forgot. But that's like when you're starting to sand something, like, how do you know? Well, that's a good example of how you know. So I just did this with 1,000 grit, and now how do I know if it's enough or not? Well, you see that right there, the little dots? So that will turn into orange peel if you don't sand that. And so it just won't stick. Anything that's shiny, the paint won't stick to very good. So you want to make sure you sand that out. So I've done this with 1,000. It looks like I need to do it quite a bit more with 1,000. Some spots are good, but when you're looking at it, look in the reflection like that, and you can tell where. I'll probably just do the whole panel, squeegee it off, and then look at it again. So that's kind of just the mindset. So I wanted to show you the improvement with the bumper that I'm thinking. So let me just show you what I did last time. Basically, I cut all the backing out of this and here because the turbos and the intercooler sit so far out front. If that's not obvious, like right in there are the turbos and the intercoolers right there. So I wanted something that, this was all stripped down, but something that looked kind of good. And so, not really knowing what I was doing, and I've got the bumper zip tied back together in several places, and the material I used wasn't like really big enough, so it's kind of just always been out there. So I got a couple of pop rivets. This thing's super flimsy, so overall kind of did what I wanted, but it looks pretty crap. So thankfully Jordan found me a new bumper, and I believe this came from Minnesota at the U-Pole Rosemont. And so now I'm actually planning on leaving. I have the covers for these, so I think I'm going to leave those in place. But as you can see, I did trim out all of the back ducting out of it, so it's going to have to be flat. That'll be step one. Then step two, I just started forming this. And as you can see, I'm trying to get it to like pop out a little bit, so that way it'll look more flush at the front. Now I have punched a couple of holes in it, but at least this will give me an idea of how I want to form it. And I mean, this is probably, it's not like super great anyway, so it might need replaced eventually, but Yeah, so I have enough material, and I'm curling it around the bottom here. So if I flip this over, you can kind of see. So basically fitting it in there, and I've been pinching this down. Bob's got these Bodywork vice grips, so just kind of like pinching and forming it around this lip that I've made on the inside. And then the key was to have it being held in place. And so I've put the front license plates holders on in reverse, and then that should hold it in place enough that I can eventually form it here, and then I'll pull it back off before we paint the bumper, but I just wanted to show you guys what I was thinking with that. Got the base coat done. Bob did 3 coats, and between 2 he actually saw a spot where we didn't sand the primer good enough, and he sanded it with a piece of sandpaper and a little bit of water, and then he did the finish coat over it, and looks sweet. This color is called Gunmetal Gray. Man, I'm just loving this. We're about to do the clear coat. So kind of looks like black in certain light, but when you actually see it, you can definitely tell it's gray. And Mr. Bob actually had some black left over, so he even did the wing and the mirrors in black for me. Alright, so let's take the first look at the finished Subaru paint job here. So it's been a couple of days since I've been in here. Just been busy and stuff, but here is the new color. Alright, so you can see painted all the door handles and stuff. I love the gloss, it looks really good. Rear bumper. Bob even hooked up the black here, which turned out pretty dang good, I think. It's called Gunmetal Gray. Man, I like that a lot. So shiny. Can't wait to get all the tape off and put the wheels on and see how it looks. Dang. Man, that looks so much better. Even got a feline shop cat testing it out.